I was born in a Muslim country, and I was born in a Muslim family. For all generation that I could remember, they were all Muslims. And my mother, very faithful Muslim, tried to teach us all the laws and principles about the Muslim and make us to practice it. When I remember I was 5 years old, first when I fast, I really loved God, even though I had not so much experience, but I was a very young girl, but I really, really loved God. And I would faithfully do all the activities in society to bring Islam to the practice for everybody, to make sure that then in the school everybody is doing their job as a Muslim believer, Muslim persons. And I got there was a time that the war started in my country, and by then I joined the army, very young age. But for the government was not important how old you are. They would give you a gun, they call it GC3 that time, and you hold it and then you shoot. If the gun throw you about 1 meter, if you could resist that, they would take you in. I hold the gun, the weapon, and the shooting happened. I didn't move, so I stayed still. So they let me in the army. So I went through all the training, and I was volunteered to go for frontline to die. You know, you have heard for lots of young kids that they do a suicide bomber, because we really believe that what we believe is true and that God is a real God. I'll make this story short. I had to run away from my country, and I escaped. It took me 6 months from my country to reach a part of Europe that I could live safely, to be able to get a status in any other country. Even in out of country, I started evangelism about Islam, and I try to bring people to Islam, because there is a big reward for if you are able to convert anybody to this religion. There's a big reward that promised for the person who does that. And after that, I got the opportunity to meet and to get to know other religions. Back home, I didn't know any religion. All I knew, it was Muslim, the one Islam, that I was born into it. And the more I think about the religions, the more I get my faith strong in Islam, because I would come up with questions from the book of Islam that they couldn't answer me. They didn't have answers, and I would give them the answer from the book of Islam, from Quran. And I by God's grace, I could come to Canada. I got a refugee status in Canada, and then I met in Canada, I met Mormons and the Mennonites, and the same thing. I would go into their gathering and bring up the questions, and they were not challenging questions. They was really my own questions that I had in the whole creature. Why? I got all those questions, and I couldn't find any answers. So I keep telling them, I was trying to convince them that still Islam is the best religion. I met a person who came and helped me and my family, and I asked him, what do you believe in? He said, nobody. There is no God. I just believe if you do good, you get good. And I said, that is my problem. I've been miserable because I've been hanging on to some power God, call it God, or people call it God. So that's why I'm expecting some help from somewhere that does not exist. So you're probably right. You're doing lots of good things and you don't believe in any God. So I start going in that direction, which it didn't really help. I became so much miserable. There was a war going inside me. How could you say there is no God? Don't you see the sun? Don't you? And I said, okay, I repent. And I said, there must be a God. Let's look more. Let's search more. And this time was that I met with a group that were happy and everything, and they took me to a temple, which is a Buddhist temple. And the first day when I arrived, the priest for the temple came to me and told me all my life. She told me, you were born before and you were a man. I said, okay, that makes sense, because I've been carrying all my family, doing all those things that a man should be. I'm very brave and bold and all of that. And then she said, you killed somebody and you didn't get the punishment. So you are, as a punishment, you are born again as a woman and you're going through all this suffering. I said, that makes sense. Because I always ask why I'm going through so much suffering. This was not even yet beginning of my suffering, and I didn't know that. So I became a Buddhist for a while, practiced that. But again, that voice inside me, when I go buy apple, oranges, put them in front of those statues, something inside me laugh at me, said, look at yourself, you're stupid or something, And I couldn't continue that either. And then after that, it was when my sicknesses started. I got a terrible back pain, and then one day I bent and I could not get up anymore. So I stayed bended. And terrible pain. I went to lots of hospitals, to rehab. It was terrible. I would scream from the treatment. I was either sleeping, or if I'm awake, I just wake enough to reach the water or something to take some medicine and go back again. Just piece of meat that breathes, There was no other God I could try. I've tried it all. I've tried anything that came on my way. And all I've done in my life was good to others, taking care of my family, trying anything I knew to be good to others. And that was the end of my life. I killed myself, suicide. I was unsuccessful. And back to the morphine again. It was worse than death, because I was not married. I had no family, never had the children. I never had the time to start my own life. It was all about my family, my country, everything. I was waiting one day to start my own life, to get married, to have children, all of that. And when they told me, you won't die, but this is it, you're going to be a piece of meat. I was so in the bad shape that they even didn't know how to put me in a car, because I couldn't sit, or I couldn't lie down, or couldn't stand. It was just so bended like this with the pain continually. I needed some help, because the place I rented, it was so messy. I needed somebody that can stand straight, come and take the garbage out or do something. So I went out trying to find somebody, and I saw this guy who was drug addicted. I said, I need help. If you could come and do some help with at the house, clean up or something, I give you some money. And he said, a sandwich and a cigarette, packet cigarette would be enough. I said, okay. So he was helping me to get to house. And then we passed by a little building, and he said, do you like to dance? I said, oh, I always love to dance. They said, these people dance for free. You can come and go there every evening. They dancing on Sundays. I said, okay. So I went there on Sunday. And I entered to this. They were dancing, they were singing, they were worshiping, and somebody told me, "Welcome to the church." I said, "Is this a church?" They said, "Yes." I said, "Where is the stuff?" He said, "This is a church." I said, "Where is your statues? Where is I never seen this church before. This is like a big room, people just dancing." And that was a born-again church that I got introduced for the first time to. I went in the church, and of course I couldn't dance or anything, just on the floor. And by the end of the worshiping, I asked God, I said, "Lord," I didn't know his name, that God or Lord. I just said, is there anything? Is there anything there? I'm at the end. This is the end of it for me. if there is anything, show me yourself. And if it's not, that's it. I'm done with everything. There is no other way. I have tried all the religions that are in the market. I have tried everything. I have tried all the doctors or everything. I'm just piece of meat. What is the purpose of this? And then when I was crying on my knees, and then all of the sudden I just saw this light. It was so bright. It was so bright. And I just said, who is this? Who is this? And then he said, I am Jesus. And then I start beating myself. Oh, all these years I heard your name, but I always have, what a stupid I am. So you are real. So you are real. And it says, I am the truth. I am true. And then every time and then he touched me, he just put his hand on my head, like I went all the way to the top. I didn't know what was going on in me. And then it took long because I was just saying, forgive me for not believing that you are real, and forgiving me. And I was just saying that. And then when I came back again, I saw ladies, they were holding me. I didn't know, I don't know when they came around me. I didn't know it's anybody around me. And they just kissed me and said, you okay? I said, yes. And they said, wow, such a beautiful smell here. We know, we could smell the Lord. I said, I saw him. And then they helped me to get up. And I just stood up straight. I had no pain. And I could just stand up so straight. And I never been in hospital since then, except for my baby, that I had to have a baby. And I walked myself. I came home. I just didn't want to sleep anymore. I just want to stand up. I want to do things. It was just like I got a new life. And now I keep looking at myself in mirror that I'm standing straight. My face was different. I look so different. And after that, I didn't know what happened to me. For a week, I thought I'm crazy. I thought, how could that be? What's going on? And then lots of bad things start happening to me. Like my house got on fire, everything. And I remember I just would stand in the mirror. I said, I saw him. I'm not going back. I saw him. I am healed. I am healed. I can walk. I have no pain, no surgery, nothing. I have so much health. I was just saying, I have so much health. Nowhere in my body hurt. Before, every piece of body was hurt. My heart even was hurting. My emotion, my everything. I had just this new hope for life that, I can have a life again. I know I was trained as a soldier and everything, but this was even worse than a physical war, because then my people come on my way, the professor from university, all those Muslim guys, people, everything. I was just all of a sudden, I get all these Muslim people around me that are trying to stop me from talking about the miracle that happened in my life. And I keep, maybe you won't believe it, even on Sunday, I want to go back, and some strong power would hold me back, and I lift my leg and I put it there, and like step by step until I make it to the church. And then I just say, help me, pray for me, because I couldn't be baptized for 2 years, right? Every time they planned something bad happened that it stopped my baptism in the water. It was such a struggle going on, but all I would say, I said, no, I saw him. I saw him, is the truth, is the truth. I never felt alone after that. Never. I would hear his voice, even if I'm alone under the blanket. I never felt lonely. And I had such amazing peace. And I had so much hope for life again. God told me to go and see my family and give them the news before I go and say nothing about Lord. And then this was after 2 years praying, and in 1 month my whole family had a vision of Jesus Christ, and they all came to Lord. My mother, my brothers, my sisters. And this really makes me understand the song, that Amazing Grace, that how miserable I was, how miserable I was when I was a Muslim, and I thought I was really holy in fasting and praying, all of that, and yet I was so restless and sick and hopeless.